Hey everyone, we're going to be following a Bughouse World Championship match of Silas99 and noahpinheiro23 versus Victoria and Josh. This is the under 2000 section. This is the round of 64. This is single elimination in this stage of the tournament. And let me double check what it is. I think it's first to 9, but let me check. Yeah, it is best of 16 or first to 9. So Josh is an engineer at chess.com. I believe he's head of engineering. I've partnered him on stream before, and he streams himself. I think it's heavy pennies. Let me see. Yeah. I don't think he'll be streaming this match, but if you're out there, you should go check him out, drop a follow. I'm going to apologize in advance. I'm going to be eating while we're commentating this. I just finished my workout, so I'm going to have my breakfast. Really, it's my dinner, but we'll call it breakfast to avoid confusion. Let's see. I'm going to tell people I'm streaming. See if anyone wants to jump into a call. So these guys just said in the chat recently that I guess I could check the chat. But yeah, they just said let's do it. I think the match is going to start momentarily. So the time control is 3 minutes. This is the under 2000 section, and it'll be the first 9 games with a win by 2 condition. Single elimination. Hey, Eggs PH123, thanks for watching. Not much action yet, but we expect this to start momentarily. I guess I could follow another one of these players to make sure it's not happening like a different account or something like this. But they're all chatting, so I expect this to happen fairly soon. For anyone not aware, we're going to be watching Bughouse. This is a chess variant played on 2 chessboards by 4 players in teams of 2. So the bottom is one team and the top is one team. One player in the team will play white, other will play black. Make a normal chess move. Whenever you capture a piece, you hand it to your partner. Instead of a normal chess move, you can take any of the pieces in reserve that your partner has handed you, place one on any empty square as a move, and checkmate or flag on either board ends the game. I guess I'll keep monitoring their conversation because I'm not sure. I'll just say yes. They're all talking in the chat, so this is ready to start real soon. Eggs PH123. If you haven't seen Bughouse before, it's going to make more sense as soon as this game starts. And I'm not going to be playing, I'm going to be commentating. So there's a match between 4 people, and I'm going to be airing some moves, critiquing the moves, making suggestions, things like that. Here we go. So Josh is from the United States, from New York City, I believe. Victoria is from Russia. And their opponents are from India. Josh is playing a solid opening here. Victoria has traded. Victoria needs to get more development, though. This is not great development. Not only that, she has a hole on c7. Probably want to play e6 to prevent the bishop sack. You often see sacks on f7 or f2 in Bughouse. This is a great move. Attacks a lot of key squares. This king is fairly safe too. I like Josh's position. I don't like this move. This is a real problem. Honestly, if he sacks, I think he wins. I think Noah, all he has to do is sack the bishop here. But hopefully Victoria will defend this at some point. Ideally by pushing e6, but even putting new pawn in. Okay, Victoria is now much safer. Now maybe develop some of these pieces. Okay, I could try to tempt with the bishop, maybe a new pawn in. This is fine too. A new knight would be good for Josh. It would tempo the queen, probably win a pawn in the process, but a knight is not on the horizon from the other board. Actually, Josh is up a lot of time. So time matters. It's the diagonal clocks that matter. Josh is up about 20 seconds. But there's not really a knight on the horizon. So he's just going to keep moving. This is a good move. Tempo the rook. If rook moves over, you could drop a pawn on h6. Oh, but Victoria got checkmated because this rook file was opened. So yeah, Josh is a pretty solid player. I think if Victoria can avoid getting mated, then Josh and Victoria should win most of these games. But if Victoria doesn't stay safe, then it could go the other way. So our score is now 1-0, favoring the team from India, noahpinheiro23 and Silas99. So if pawn takes, a knight in would be very good for Josh. His partner is attacking this knight. Okay. Ooh, I don't like this move. He should have waited for the knight first, so that there'd be no chance for Silas to defend. If the knight goes first, king has to go over. That's an only move, and then he can take the pawn, and then he's threatening stuff. So this is like a worse form of that. So this would have been much better before the queen was here, before the king had an escape square. So Silas is going to be able to get out of this. This is a nice move from Josh attacking. Honestly, I think Silas should ignore that. Okay, that's one way of ignoring it. Sure, that works too. Could see knight up. Knight up is a fairly good move. Exploiting this pin. King here, then bishop check. And I think Josh has mate. Bishop check, if something interposes, just take it. Drop a new knight here. And he has a queen to drop on the board. Not only that, they're up a lot of time. So Victoria doesn't have to move anymore. Victoria could just stall. As long as she's safe, she could keep moving, maybe retreat this bishop or something like that. This really ought to be mate for Josh. I think queen in where the king is, no matter what. Queen at b2. And if the king comes up and eats the knight, pawn up is mate. So it's the diagonal clocks that matter, and because Victoria is up time, Silas is stalling because he knows he's mated. But if he stalls and Victoria also stalls, Silas will run out of time first. That's why the diagonal clocks matter. Victoria is up time on Silas, so Silas cannot afford to stall because Victoria can stall too. So this is mate. That's another type of mate. Our score is now 1-1, all tied up. We have a match here. I really don't like Victoria's opening of c5. It creates a hole in her position at c7 where future pieces could be dropped. I do like that she's played e6 a lot faster than last time. And really she needs to develop some of these pieces. The Fiend Shadowing is a little bit, this pawn potentially loose, is a little bit dangerous in Bughouse because if the bishop ever trades off, it creates a weakness where a pawn can drop on g7. So have to really leave the bishop here. And if this knight like moves somewhere, then like a pawn could land on a6. This is a nice move. If the knight moves away, there's a potential sack here. And if some material comes, that king might be mated. Josh is staying up on time. They're up about 10 seconds and continuing because there's a double sit coming on from the team from India. Josh is trying to feed pieces to his partner, but Josh does need to stay safe himself. Oh, he's trying to do a queen trade. A queen trade would be fantastic for his partner. Bishop sack is probably correct, but Victoria should wait. Wait until this queen trade happens. Because if the bishop trades first, the bishop landing in Silas's hand will help him avoid the queen trade. It's much better to put pressure on Silas. But eventually, if Josh and Silas do trade queens, then bishop takes pawn, followed by bishop at a3, and then queen in would be mate. This is a potential threat. Josh is taking some pawns. Protecting everything. Could take this pawn, could castle that way. Has a lot of options. Even pawn here is quite good. Pawn here because if the rook moves away, then queen in is a threat. On Victoria's board, pawn at one of these two places is a good idea. More likely pawn here. Pawn at a3 continues the attack. Josh still trying to trade the queen, and because Silas can't trade the queen, it is allowing Josh to get a lot of initiative, maneuvering his pieces to better squares. That forces the queen trade. Victoria still needs to play the pawn in. Okay, pawn here is okay. Not quite as good, but still useful. Now you could take this, or you could put a bishop here. Take this. Queen take is a bit of a threat. New knight in is a bit of a threat. Victoria's under attack. And really she needs to move. She is now down time by 13 seconds. I'm going to mute for a second. So time has really got away from Victoria. And that's probably going to decide this game. Victoria just needs to roll up moves. It's good that she's a little bit safer with this bishop here. This move is a useless move. Alright, now she's dead. Pawn check and queen in is going to be mate. queen one of these two places. That mates two. That was a missed opportunity. Victoria had a clear win, especially if the pawn landed on the other side on what was it, a3 rather than c3. Next, 156 says, "What is that?" I'm not sure if you're referring to what I'm eating or the game. The game is Bug House. What I'm eating is a strawberry banana smoothie. She's attacking. Victoria really needs to roll out some moves. I would get this knight somewhere. They're playing with a huge handicap that Victoria keeps opening with c5. This is really not a good opening. It creates a weak squared on c7, which can be attacked the whole game. Now she's placed her queen there, which is going to get tempoed. Hey, it's me, Chark. You should drink a smoothie instead of eating it. Yeah, well, I eat it with a spoon because it is quite thick. So the smoothie I have is a cup of orange juice, 2 mixes of whey protein, a whole banana, well, minus the skin, I guess, but a banana, a bunch of frozen strawberries, and some ice. And it's delicious. It seems like dessert, but has a lot of protein in it, and I get my vitamin C. So It's Me Chark is another streamer. How much protein? 2 scoops of whey protein mix. I use GNC Gold Standard strawberry banana whey protein. So It's Me Chark has been streaming a bunch of Crazy House and Bug House, and he's going to cover some of these Bug House World Championship games as well. It's Me Chark. If you want to jump in a Discord call, let me know. I don't know if you're free right now, but it'd be great to have commentary with you. So Victoria is on the attack. This king is a little bit unsafe though, these dark squares. Something could land on h6, and Noah has a million pieces in hand. So honestly, this game is going to be decided by who attacks. Meanwhile, Josh, his back rank is somewhat vulnerable. Another pawn can land one of these 2 squares, then we can see a promotion. I would not take this. I would just step over. So taking this is vulnerable to new bishop in, or pawn in, since he has a pawn. I would not take this either, because if he takes it, then that opens up this rook. I think that's a forced move. Let's see. So knight would be good for Josh. Like I'm looking at rook would be good too. Rook mates. Rook in, king takes, new rook in. Like another rook besides this rook. If he had a second rook, that's mate, because rook, king gets over here. Once the king's here, rook check, king back there, this rook takes, and the rooks support each other. Another option is rook takes, pawn, check, king takes, and then maybe a knight could land if you could get a knight. Maybe bishop take, a pawn here first, I guess. Pawn here, tempo the queen. I guess trying to get the knight to move away, but yeah, she really needs to be feed in pieces to Josh. Josh is really close to mate. Honestly, a knight would mate. Oh, there's a knight. So, knight at e7, king over, rook in is mate. This probably mates too, but there were easier mates. Bishop in, I guess. Ooh, that's should not use the rook there. You want the rook for later. Yeah, now he needs more material. Oh, I guess he could drop another bishop in to get the rook off the back rank. Ooh, I don't like that. He's definitely screwing up that. Well, maybe not. Maybe this works. He might stumble into mate. He can take whatever's there and bishop back. Okay, so that was going to be mate. There were much cleaner, shorter mates, though. Am I playing chess? I'm not playing chess. This is a chess variant called Bughouse. It's played by 4 players in teams of 2. Whenever you capture a piece, you hand it to your partner. And you can make a normal chess move or take any of the pieces in reserve your partner has handed you, place one on any empty square as a move. And checkmate or flag on either board ends the game. And I'm not watching, I am observing and commentating. So I am none of these 4 players. Spinecruncher says, do you taste the protein powder in the smoothie? Not really, no. The protein powder is masked by all the other flavors. It's me, Shark says, I'm not watching, I'm observing. Oh, sorry, I misspeak? I meant to say I'm not playing, I'm observing. Now we have Josh on the right board rather than the left board. Victoria is a little bit undeveloped. Oh, this is a good move. Trying to make this knight move away. Once the knight moves away, this pawn can fall. And we see now Josh has a lot of material in hand. I think this is a better strategy for them. You can just take this and let go of the queen. Because there's a mate in 1 threat with queen at. Yeah, here Victoria's picked up a pawn. I think it's better for Josh to have the material in hand than Victoria, because Josh is a little bit of a better attacker. Okay, that mates, but bishop there would have been maybe a little bit cleaner. Pretty sure this is mate, though. Yeah, well, if he goes back here, then it's mate immediately with queen in. Okay, new queen in. Okay, using this queen. That's good. It's good technique. Queen takes, new queen in is mate. Oh, actually, if he goes over here, then knight in is mate. Great maiden technique by Josh. Oh, it's me. Chark says, shall I call you on Discord? Sure. Yeah, let me jump out of the call that I'm in. Feel free to call me on Discord or just send me a Discord message. Here we go. Hey, can you hear me, Chuckfuss?
Yeah, very well.
Great.
Hi, Jack, and hi, Chuck.
Hi. How are you doing today?
Pretty good. They just started, but yeah, pretty solid. You?
Yeah, the day is just starting, and we actually have 3 matches in a row, I believe. For me, well, and actually we might have another match start before this one is done. But like in theory, if they were all finished, then we could watch like 3 different matches. We might end up actually only covering 2 of them, but there's a lot of Bughouse to watch today.
Yeah, true. I just happened to see that you were online on Twitch. I didn't check the schedule yet for
Oh,
today.
I'm sorry. When I said 3 matches in a row, it looks like 4 matches. So there's this match, in 8 minutes, there's going to be an under 2000 match. Asil and Serum Prasad 1999 versus Now You See Me 007 and 24 ADI 97. And
Hard
then
name to read.
and then in that one
In
we
an
might
hour,
that one
then
we
two
might
more.
not get to cover, but an hour after that there's 2 different matches, both in the under 2000 section.
Yeah, I remember a couple weeks ago when I had a match scheduled at the same time as 4 other players. So one other match. Then they asked me to play my match a little bit later. So maybe now it happened again that someone was asked to move their match. Which I
Maybe,
don't know, of
maybe,
course.
but I think it was Scary Snakes who coordinated that, and I don't think I'm gonna bother to do that myself. If someone else wants to suggest that to them, the thing is, I think Scary Snake says he's not
Did you see
available this
that
weekend.
Honor just? Knight takes a5.
Knight takes a5. What happened?
Yeah,
Oh,
Noah could just take a queen on a5, but he didn't
oh,
see it.
oops. And then the queen moved away. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I was saying earlier that I think that the Josh Victoria team did a big disadvantage because Victoria keeps playing c5, which creates a weakness. Doesn't get much in the way of development. So
yeah,
we're
c5.
seeing that like every game here, unfortunately.
It's a very risky line. I really don't like it when people get in trouble exactly the same way over and over and over again and don't realize it.
I agree. It's good to learn from your mistakes. Looks like she's attacking the queen, and not but yeah, that's a great rook move to fork these, and she doesn't have a rook to interpose, so she's just going to lose the knight. So if she were to get a knight for f2, she could pick up a queen, and they are up time, but Josh needs to roll out some moves.
Josh does have some ideas on the light squares with his pawns and maybe his bishop. I do like 94 from Silas.
Yeah, great move. He really should play like pawn at d7 first, I think, before retreating the queen, and at least trade 2 pawns for a piece. Oh,
I
okay.
don't think it really matters that much.
That worked out. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, that was a mistake. He should have, in my opinion, played e5 to defend this knight. It was
And
pretty safe.
by the way, when Josh picked up that knight, Victoria immediately used that to win a queen.
Noah has knight d5.
He found it.
I think queen d8 there makes the most sense.
Lobsterman asks, "Can I use a feeding tube for a smoothie?" If it comes to that, if I can't eat normally, that's what I'll be doing. But for now, I can use my mouth.
I do like bishop b6. Thoughts on rook g3 from Noah?
Rook g3. Yeah, that's a good idea. It defends against the queen coming against the king. I don't like this. You just well, no, actually maybe that's a good move.
Could work.
He can't take it with either thing.
I think Victoria should stop moving for the moment. Now, there actually, Josh should have waited for a pawn, I think.
Yeah,
If Josh had a
upon
pawn for f7 and then a rook, he would have mate.
yeah,
But now, because of this bishop, it's not a check if the king goes to d8, rook or queen on e8, and then
could
you
try
take
to
on
do
e8.
something sneaky like knight at a5, and then if pawn takes queen, then there's checkmate.
Yeah, true.
Oh, well, that's just mate for Josh.
That's really weird. It makes no
Oh,
sense to.
not there. I mean,
Well, it's still mate.
it's still mate, but queen at e8 was a little cleaner.
And still flag as well. But well, if
Let's
you find forcing mates, you don't have to calculate if you see a better forcing mate.
I calculated a better fortune mate.
Yeah, I did too, but he saw forcing mate in two.
Okay, fair enough. Score update by the way. I think is it 5-2? Am I right about that, or is it?
I didn't see the beginning. I'm seeing 5-2 on my screen, but in
Yeah.
theory, there was an aborted game.
Oh, okay.
In theory.
They're talking about taking a short break, of like a 5-minute break, so that might happen.
So yeah, what I was saying was when Josh and Victoria, they both had some options to wait for specific pieces. At first, I thought maybe Victoria could wait for something like a queen, but then I saw that Josh had forced mate with a rook and a queen, and at that point, I thought that's definitely the moment where you should be going for that specific mate. And since they were up like 25 seconds,
Yeah, I know.
it's quite reasonable that you get that.
I agree. And I do think it's better in general for Josh to be attacking than Victoria, because
Yeah,
the higher rated player is less likely to screw up a maiden technique than the lower rated player.
I
But
agree.
Lobster Man
Do you
says
know
he's.
which one of these teams won their group?
Uh, uh, that's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. So what he's asking is the way this tournament was structured. We had a group stage, in November and early December. Lasted about 6 weeks, and there were how many groups? I guess there were 32 groups, and
Yeah,
then
yeah, and
of
yeah.
those groups had generally had 5 or 6 teams in them, and the top 2 teams progressed, and now we have a single elimination ladder, and all of these first round games are someone who won their group versus someone who lost their group. So
Well, someone who was second out of six.
right, yeah. So someone who finished first out of 6 versus someone who was second out of 6. So one
Knight
is
c7 for Victoria. In the meantime,
yeah, that's free rook, sure. So one of these teams finished first and one finished second, and I don't know off the top of my head which is which.
I can check because in the challenge there are numbers like seeds, and I assume that numbers 1 until 32 are all group winners.
That's a good assumption.
Yeah, and Josh and Victoria are number 12. Silas and Noah are number 53. So I assume that Josh and Victoria won their group. And I'm also assuming that they won group number 12. Or the 12th letter of the alphabet. Which I
I
don't know.
I think you're correct about that, but I don't know for sure. So
I could check it, but
they've had their
not
break and
worth it.
their back play in here. Um, yeah, I don't think we accounted for breaks in the
Oh,
tournament
that's a
format,
mistake from Victoria. There's Queen H2, and that should not
and
be
he
allowed.
saw it. Yeah, try not to allow checkmate in one.
Yeah, and Victoria had an attack there. She could have played pawn e5, assuming she would get it. And then there was a nice attack on the dark squares, but now Noah just got to destroy that attack and get a counter threat,
And
which was then ignored.
right, and our score is now 5-3, favoring Josh and Victoria.
Josh could take on f7. I really dislike the move knight f6 in that specific position. Now it's not as good anymore. Still dangerous, but not as dangerous. Because the bishop on g4 does help defend. But if Josh gets a bishop,
Yeah,
he
then
has a mate if he takes on g4.
And there's a bishop being gone for.
Almost.
Oh, uh, there's the bishop.
There it is. Yeah.
And I think Josh knows about the mate. Yeah.
Yeah.
So new knight at d5 is going to be mate. Mate in 2. Or
Or
no,
normal.
no, mate
Normal
in 1.
knight.
Actually, yeah, he doesn't even need to drop a knight. He can move his knight.
And you can clearly see here that Josh told Victoria that he needed that bishop. Victoria really went out of her way to get him that bishop.
So
And Noah had no idea that he wasn't supposed to trade that bishop.
yeah, that's why communication is very important in this game. Lobsterman says Ghost is speaking. The ghost who is speaking is Charkvoss, who streams at It's Me Chark. And you are rated, what, about 2,500 at Bughouse? Something like that?
I was in November pretty much consistently 2600, but then in December I dropped back to 2430, 2420, 2450, that range, where I'm pretty stable in that, back where I belong, I guess.
Wait, let
And
me.
actually in Crazy House I reached 2500 for the second time today.
Hmm.
It's weird because I'm definitely better in Bughouse than in Crazy House, but I'm now higher rated in Crazy House.
Lobsterman says he can't hear me, but I'm seeing the audio going whenever I talk in OBS, so I think that's a him problem.
Yeah, I have you muted, of course, because otherwise
Yeah.
the chat will hear you 500 times in echoes. By the way, it's really rude to not just resign this. Unless Victoria makes a stupid move,
Yeah,
which allows mating one.
I mean, Victoria is checkmated in 1. If she moves, she really should not move. Um, and I'm sure Josh and Victoria are communicating in a voice call. So,
Yeah,
thank you for confirming,
100%.
Jonas Rest. Jonas Rest says he can hear me fine. That's another win for Josh and Victoria. Our score is now 6-3, favoring Josh and Victoria. And again, it is first to 9 with a win by 2 condition.
Did you get rated by somebody?
I don't believe so.
When I got here, there were
If
like 5 or 7
Okay,
viewers, and now it's in the hundreds.
so I think what happened is I got a rolling embed from chess.com. I'm a partner streamer on chess.com, and so they send an embed from the homepage to a random partner streamer every 10 minutes. So I think I got one of those.
Okay. I see some mistakes on the Victoria Noah board. Just like last game, Noah allowed
Well,
knight c7.
so it's interesting. Like the knight move picked up a free rook, but if Noah were up time, then bishop at a5. If the partner could get a bishop, could have picked up the knight.
Maybe Josh knew that, and maybe that's why he didn't trade queens, because queen a5 does the same thing.
Very true.
So Victoria should have played knight c7 for sure, but earlier.
Yeah, because at some point this bishop might move away, like it did just now, and now this knight may fall.
Rook g6 from Josh is definitely good. Maybe Noah can go for something like h3, go for the attack.
So Josh has some ideas here, even like d4 to try to cut off the queen. After d4, you could threaten like rook takes pawn.
Yeah. This doesn't really seem to do anything. Except if he
Not
gets a knight.
unless, yeah, if there's another knight, then you could just sack the rook. But this knight is kind of bait. Silas should not take that, obviously, or has made it.
Yeah.
And this pawn push was also clever because it brings the bishop into the attack. Maybe
and
just e4 to try to get in on the
yeah.
light squares.
And if that knight moves, then you have queen g1 if you're Josh.
Exactly. Yeah.
Smothered mate.
So this sort of smothered mate happens a lot in Bughouse. And this is going to be another win for Josh and Victoria.
I will check if that other game has started already.
It probably has. We're going to stay on this match until it concludes, and we'll transfer over to the other one.
I don't think it does. No, I don't think they started yet. I looked up 2 of the 4 players and I couldn't see those 2. Not playing a game right now, at least. So unless they just finished the game and are trying to rematch, they're not playing. By the way, I remember there was the news that live chess was going to be removed, but I thought it would have happened by now. Do you know anything about that?
A little bit. I mean, whenever I go to live chess, it says that live chess is going to be discontinued by the end of the year, and that happened, in November, and the end of the year was December 31st. So I sort of assumed
Yeah.
live chess would be gone by now. I did a stream partnering to JD Cannon, who is a staff member at chess.com, and he works on testing and engineering and so forth. And he told me that they've actually pushed back the date of switching from of discontinuing live and switching entirely to play. They still have a few bugs to work out in play, which is fine by me. Push back as long as possible.
Exactly. I've never successfully used play because of all those bugs.
I've tried play, and well, when you say successfully, I've used play, and I've won some games, but it was not a great experience. I reported the bugs, and I'm hoping that they're sorting them out. I told the chess.com people that I'm happy to help them test whenever they want, as long as they had already fixed all of the bugs I reported earlier. So once they fix that round of bugs, then I will help them find more bugs.
That sounds good.
Hey, Chess Doofus, good luck on your tournament. Hope it goes well.
I really like the move from Noah from I think 2 moves ago, maybe 3, where he dropped a bishop on f8. It's a great way to get rid of the one attacker while getting some control of the dark squares near his king.
Absolutely. So Victoria, I don't like this pawn move. If she were to get like another knight there, followed by the rook, that would be mate. Actually, I'm not sure how the knight would come. A rook is under attack, but
Well, their team is up a lot of time, and I think
oh, that's
you
a free
can.
rook.
Yeah, that rook is already there, and then you can probably just sacrifice your queen for that knight on g1.
Victoria did lose a piece on g4, and that was one of her best attacking pieces.
I think she should wait for pawn to put on g7. Or to put on h7 combined with knight g5. Knight drop on g5.
Yeah, another knight would be good for Victoria.
Knight plus pawn. Or bishop.
Even if a pawn comes, she could play like not sure I like that move. I was going to suggest rook at g7, bishop takes, pawn takes, and then if king takes, then it could put something on f6 and trade to help Josh.
Yeah. Now rook
Oh,
e1 is
pawn,
mating for
pawn.
Josh.
Oh, yeah. Pawn at g7 also was good. Oh, Josh is missing some opportunities here.
Is he?
Oh, I'm sorry. Victoria is missing some opportunities. I'm sorry.
Josh has queen h2 right now.
Oh, that's
But
very,
this
very
is,
nice mate from
yeah,
Josh. Yeah.
now
So
that he has
new
another knight,
knight in
he can
is
do this.
mate.
Yeah, when I said it, I think he
Great,
didn't
great
have the knight yet.
technique.
My idea of queen h2 was if Silas takes it back, then you play knight f3, forces king f1, and then knight takes h2, which was mating. It wasn't forcing mate, but I do think it was likely to work. Depending on how much time advantage you have, you either do it or you don't. If you have a lot of time advantage, you don't do it. Time is equal. I think you should.
Yeah, I agree. And I think our score is now 8-3.
Yeah.
So this last game could be match point.
And you can really tell that Silas and Noah are not coordinating at all, actually. Or at least much worse than Victoria and Josh.
Yeah, Josh and Victoria are for sure in some sort of call together. Maybe a Discord call or Skype or Zoom or something like that. They've been doing a great job communicating. I still find Victoria's opening to be terrible, but at least they're talking with each other.
Yeah. Terrible but fixable. Like last game, I think it was Victoria who was attacking quite early on, and then Silas just offered a queen trade out of nowhere. Well, not out of nowhere, but completely unprovoked. And he should have known that it was very bad for Noah. But either he didn't care or he didn't know. And if he didn't know, it's because, first of all, Noah didn't tell him. And second of all, because he didn't look or didn't see it. And all of those things are avoidable. If one, you just tell your teammate, I'm in trouble if this and this happens. And two, if you just look at the other board. I do like this
Now
sack on
Noah's,
h6.
yeah, it's a great sack. And it's not even a sack. In Bughouse, it's kind of an even
Yeah,
trade
true.
if you get 2 pawns for a piece.
Agreed.
This bishop could either really sack or it could retreat. That's not the best square to retreat, but still okay, I guess.
Yeah, I would have taken on g7.
Now you
The
could
potential
trade
is
by
very
just
high
taking
there.
the knight, like bishop takes knight, or you could play knight takes f7 first.
Yeah, I would do
Or you
that.
could play pawn at h7, then knight takes.
No, I would take on f7 first, and then you have all the light squares available for your bishop and your pawn. A white pawn on h7 right now is basically just in the way. Because it's there too early.
So Noah can just start dropping on the light squares.
Yeah,
Hey, Prof.
either
Master.
pawn or bishop g6. But there's no reason for him to just not move here. It's too slow. Even though the move is fine, but if you have 9 good moves in the position, just play one of the 9. It doesn't matter if you spend, well, if you, yeah, it's just bad if you spend 15 seconds to figure out which of those 9 is slightly better. Because that doesn't matter as much.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's better to just keep moving to continue getting up on the clock, or at least equalize on the clock, because I guess they're down on the clock.
Yeah.
But Noah is doing a good job attacking and making stuff happen. Josh is playing quite fast though. So Josh, even though Victoria's position is not so good, they are at this point up about 20 seconds, it looks like, which is huge for them.
I think you're almost ready to take on c6 if you're Josh, but not really. Because Silas does have a lot of defenders there near the king. And those bishops on e7 and e6 are pretty solid. I know I really wants a pawn to put on h7 right now. Queen e8.
All these are solid moves. Oh, knight is really good. Oh, knight e7, and then you can threaten like pawn at g6 or something like that.
Josh
Or
should not be moving right now.
threatening new knight in. Okay, now you can knight check, and queen takes queen.
This is very bad from Josh. He should definitely be waiting. He's just killing his teammate right now.
Oh, I don't like that bishop move. Well, given that they're down time, I guess it's something that had to be done.
Yeah. I don't like knight e3 there from Silas. I would have just taken on c6. That was a lot safer for his king than what he's doing right now. Now something like knight c4 from Josh.
Yeah,
Puts a lot of pressure.
Josh really needs to just roll up moves. Should have taken with the knight on f3, I think.
Or the bishop.
Or the bishop, yeah. Oh, queen takes. This is great. Now you have knight takes queen as a threat. Queen could move to d5, and then you can put a new knight in. And we see how time was a huge factor here. So even though Victoria was getting destroyed, it was up enough time that she could stall, and Silas just ran out of time. Well, she was
getting destroyed because he fucked up.
Yeah, no, the team was getting destroyed, but they were able to flag Silas, and that is GG's. So the match is over, and final score was 9-3, favoring Josh and Victoria. Let me just throw this in the chat here. And do you know if
the ratings from Silas and Noah? I think they can just be happy to make it to the knockout stage. I think that was probably their best accomplishment.
So has the other match started?
I'll check. I don't see them yet. No.
Okay.
No.
I'll change my title just in case. Are any of these guys online?
I'm not following any of them. So.
Alright, I'm gonna.
Well, I can check as well.
I'm gonna start following.
I'll just check one by one.
Yeah, one. Heisel's online.
I'll check the weird
unable to follow. Now you see me.
Numbers.
Okay, so
24 AD is online right now.
Okay, so one of the teams is online and the other is not. Looks like. Oh,
now you see me online?
Never mind. Never mind. There's just one player online. Now you see me is online.
No, also his teammate is online.
Really, it's not letting me.
24 AD is online. I'm on his profile right now.
Okay.
And
well, maybe he's online but not in live chess.
Yeah, exactly. That's possible. Checking next one now.
Yeah, I've checked by following them. The only one I could follow
Yeah,
was Hazel.
HSE or yeah, no idea how to say that name.
Yeah, me
But
neither.
this name that starts with an H is online. And then there's only one person left to check. Srirem. I copied the wrong thing. Last online 2 days ago. So 3 out of 4 are online. I don't know any of these 4 players. Do you know any of them?
I don't know them either. Um, let's see. So the next match. Excuse me. The next match after this will start in about 35 minutes. If this one doesn't
The
happen.
schedule I put it in the chat, by the way. You could also share it if you want it.
Yeah,
If you want to.
I think I have a command for that.
I mean, you can share it on your screen if you want.
Yeah, that's a little complicated with my layout, so I'm not.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not gonna share it on the screen.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
But we do
You
have
could.
2 matches coming up in about 35 minutes. Um, hopefully, at least one of them will happen. I'm not sure. Should we look at some random matches to pass the time, or should I end the stream and then start a new stream in 35 minutes? What do you think?
Yes.
Do
I
you think
think
the second
one
one?
of those is the correct option.
Yeah, which one?
Oh, you want me to choose? Let's see what is happening right now. Nothing interesting at the moment.
Yeah, I don't see any very high rated matches going on right now.
Yeah.
We could just watch a random low rated match.
Maybe just watch the lowest of them all.
Lowest
Are
of
there
them
any
all.
400s playing?
Ah, we have an 800 playing.
Yeah, watch that.
Okay.
I don't see it.
Zeka Bamboo. Uh, ZECABAMBU. No, no,
ZABA.
ZECA
Yeah.
BAMBU. He is from Brazil, and he's partnered to Naito_8. Maybe a little easier to
What did
follow.
you say after the M?
B as in boy, and then U.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh wait, what is this? Oh, actually, one of the players who's supposed to be playing is now playing a match, so we can watch him.
Oh yeah.
Hazel is playing. He's just playing in the random pool.
I think I'm actually going to do a series where I'm just going to watch very low rated players play, just to piss myself off.
It is a lot of fun, and that's one of the things that's fun about the under 2000 section is we get to watch and commentate on games where it's somewhat hard to predict the moves. Um,
Yeah. And since the pace is a lot slower than
yeah, it's
what
easier to
you and
commentate
I are
when it's
usually
slower.
playing,
Yeah,
it's easier to commentate.
yeah.
When the elite players are playing, it's like, whoa, did you see that? No, what happened? I assume you also had a number of occasions where you were like, wait, what? Did Team A just win? I was convinced Team B was winning that. What happened on that other board?
So for Piquet here, a rook mates and a knight is very good. The idea with the knight is knight at e3. If pawn takes, then you can play knight at f2. Partner trying
It's
to get a
weird.
queen.
In my, from what
Ooh,
I'm
that I don't
seeing,
like. Uh-oh.
I only see 1800 plus in the in
Did
the.
did you did you scroll down more?
Yeah, I scroll down all the way, but I'm just not
Okay.
seeing anyone
Oh, that's mate for Praveen.
low rated. Maybe I did something in my settings.
I don't know. I don't know that there's a setting that determines who you can see in when you're observing. Because more for
Yeah,
playing.
it's weird. Maybe I
But
need to refresh.
but yeah, that was a screw up by Piquet. Um, he couldn't afford to allow pawn takes g5. That was just kind of game over at that point.
Could you
Looks
post the
like
link
it
of the?
looks like Metaphistocles is playing now.
Okay.
Watch that one. He's 2500. Partner's 1400. Sorry, his partner's 1500. I guess this is Jarl. Metaphysically, is Jarl, I'm being told.
Could be. I know his partner a little bit,
I am
and I'm
gonna.
pretty sure she's a friend of Jarl.
Oh, okay. I will be right back. In like 2 minutes.
Then I will awkwardly hang out with 143 people. Nice coincidence that the guy who is going to play in the World Championship is now playing against the highest rated guy right now in the random pool. There's a huge time advantage on the board. Both of the players on top have a lot of extra time, and I'm expecting that to be a very big factor in this game. Dalbidao can now take on f2, and after king takes f2, drop a pawn on f4, which puts immense pressure on the e3 pawn, and indirectly on the king as well. Also, starting with f4 is a possibility. But she has other ideas.
I am back. So, uh, Dalbidao is from China. It looks like is she act or from Vietnam? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Is
Vietnam.
she active on Get Your Bug Fix, or how do you know her?
I know her from, I think it's the Swiss tournaments that I play quite regularly.
Oh, okay.
She likes to watch my games and sometimes I also partner her.
Oh, cool. So a rook
And
mates for
she
Murgo82.
draws some stories, fictional stories about some Backhouse players as well. I believe I'm in one of them.
Interesting. And
And I do know that
where are these drawings? Are they on like a chess.com
on
blog
her
or something like that?
profile,
Okay.
no, just Chat.com profile.
Okay.
And I've seen Jarl in those drawings as well. It's just a blunder on a3. Bishop takes. Oh no, it's not a blunder. It's actually a very good move. My first instinct was you
Yeah,
just
yeah,
take
because you
on
can promote.
a3, but yeah, promoting and white mate's there. Blunder from me.
But she did not fall for it.
I think. How should we call the guy whose name starts with an H? French guy.
Uh,
I
Sale?
think I'll just call him H.
Maybe it's sale or something like that. I don't know if the H is silent or if the S is silent.
Well,
Ale,
it's
sale.
French, so every letter is silent.
Every letter is silent. Okay.
That's French. I don't speak French, but that's one of the few things that I do know.
I am very bad at foreign languages. I'm always impressed by people who are good at them.
I think Merc should have taken with the knight on d1 first and then taken with the rook after. Because the rook is, in my opinion, a better defender than the knight.
Merc is doing a great job attacking and defending, but of course it's
Yeah.
hard when your partner's playing Jarl. As Jarl is a very
And
good
after a
player.
minute of Doghouse, Merc was down 50 seconds on the clock.
Yeah.
It's honestly surprising that they lasted this long.
Yep.
Especially when your teammate is playing at 2500. There is no excuse for being down on the clock.
Absolutely.
You can be like, you know what? I'm going to wait for pieces. My teammate will definitely destroy this 2500. It's obviously your job to destroy your opponent and hope that your teammate is able to survive as long as possible. Bishop b4 for Merc right now. Double attack. But missed it. One move too late, but it's still pretty much a good move, I think. I think you're still taking on a5 here. Looks like it's the safest move.
What? That had to be a mouse slip.
What? Oh, b3, yeah.
Pawn at b3.
Yeah, that was.
I assume that was meant for b4.
For some reason I was watching it on Twitch and not on chess.com, so it came in a little late for me.
Milky Jelly asks, "Who is the other commentator?" Great question. The other commentator is
Yeah, who is that?
Charkvoss. He is It's Me Chark on Twitch. So definitely drop him a follow. Very strong Bughouse player and crazy house player.
Thanks.
So for
And I'm
people,
also one of the people who plays in this tournament.
yeah. So this tournament has an open section and an under 2000 section, and Chark is in the open section. We've been watching the under 2000 section. So what's going on right now is we commentated on one match to its conclusion. There was supposed to be another match that would be in the middle of it at that point, but that match did not happen. We have two matches scheduled to start in about 23 minutes. So we are kind of filling time waiting for those to start. Or hoping that that this guy Sale or Hale, however you pronounce it, that his match would
H.
happen. But maybe I should watch Jarl instead, because I feel like his match is not going to happen. I could unfollow him and just follow Jarl. That's probably more interesting.
Yeah. Why does Jarl have 3 accounts, by the way?
Great question. I don't know why anyone has more than one account, but many people do. Thanks for the follow from Chess Puncher. Really appreciate it.
Are you happy that you decided to not participate in the World Championship yourself?
Yeah, I enjoy commentating more than playing this particular event, and I'm not. I don't think I'm good enough unless I'm hard carried to make it very far in this tournament. Because the open section is very competitive. I actually played in a Bughouse event, Chess Done Quick Bughouse Edition, and I didn't even
Oh
make
yeah.
any of the money prizes for that because I was put in the open section. I partnered with Vampire Slayer, also a pretty strong player, but we finished out of the money because a lot of, and this was streamers only, but a bunch of people who hadn't
Who
really
weren't
streamed,
streamers?
who weren't
Yeah.
streamers, played in the event.
Yeah.
like I'm the most active Bughouse streamer out here, but I couldn't win a Bughouse streaming tournament.
Yeah, you're the most active good player. Yeah, from all the streamers and all the people who, yeah, some people just created an account and did their first stream right there,
Yeah,
and for some reason that was allowed.
yeah. Which is fine. Like I'm not, I don't care that much about money. You know, it's more about growing the game. So glad
Yeah,
to see more people participating.
but it was weird because they said in the rules that you had to be a chess.com partner or something, or
Yeah,
they said something specific, and I remember reading it and thinking I am not that because I'm not Twitch affiliate yet.
yeah, yeah. They changed the rules like real close to when the
Really
tournament
late.
started. Yeah. Earl giving up his
Probably
queen
had
for
something
king
else to do
safety.
anyway. Dobido wants some diagonals.
Yeah, but the rook actually pins this pawn. So if a diagonal
Oh
lands
yeah,
on
true.
f3, the queen could just take it. Um,
Dobido actually has nothing.
so it's a tough situation. This knight move is good. It threatens another knight at f4, and more importantly, it unpins from the rook. So I really like knight at e6. That was a good find.
Maybe queen g3 right now?
So now new knight at f4 is a possibility. You could stick the bishop in. Okay.
And at that point you have to take and go to g3, I think. Because on g3 you're safer than on g1.
Well, with only bishops, this might be safe enough. Oh well, that knight mates for sure though. knight at a knight at a3, bishop at g2.
And because I was scared of that knight, I want to go to g3.
Yeah. But if you do go to g3, the knight would have landed on h5 instead.
Yeah, but it's still possible you survive there.
True, true. For
And I think
sure,
it's pretty much the only difference.
for sure, it was a better try. So, do you have a preference for which of these two matches coming up we cover if they both start the same time?
Good question. I'll take a look. I think Artem Sadovsky and Shuvalov are one of the favorites to win the tournament. and that's the only team that I recognize from the 4 teams that I see.
Okay.
I think that's then the one that's my favorite. But on the
Okay.
other hand, the other match is probably closer match. So if you want a probable blowout, then that's it. And if you want the highest level of Bughouse, then that's it as well. If you want the most competitive match, you want the other one.
It's up to you. I'm flexible. There's not.
Let's take the highest rated team then.
Okay.
We had a low rated match in the last match, so now high rated.
Okay. So let me prepare for that then. So you think we should watch Forka S88 and Firetrack Cracker 150 against Artem Adavosky and Shovalov? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna start setting up my stream title for that upcoming match. It's about 17 minutes before the match. I'm going to try to kind of watch the list of Bughouse games because one of these two teams may start practicing at some point.
Here, Metal Fistocles seems to have a good attack on these light squares.
He does, yeah. So you could play. No, actually, I'm wrong. I was going to
Pawn
suggest that
h3.
second. Yeah, pawn at h3 is a good way of doing it. Oh, his partner's picked up. Oh, I don't like the promotion tonight because he could just move
Yeah.
away. I would promote the queen there.
Promoting to a knight is pretty much only good when it's check.
Yeah.
And I'm not. Oh yeah, now I am a fan of knight h3 because of rook g1 right now.
Yep.
My first instinct was king h1 and black is safe. White is safe, I mean. But then I saw that the rook was coming.
Yep. And the time differential is very important in games like this. So Jarl Metaphysicles was up about 40 seconds on his diagonal opponent. So like even if he hadn't had the rook in hand immediately, he could have waited 45 seconds for his partner to get the rook, which puts a lot of pressure on the other team. It means that sack sit-in can often pay off.
Dao Bidao is someone who plays very often with people who are much stronger than her, and her playstyle does show that she knows what her role is. She knows that she has to survive and be fast.
That sounds like
And
a lot like Miss Jenny. Miss Jenny
yeah,
will
it's
often
true.
partner higher rated people.
Yeah, I think you can compare them. Except Miss Jenny plays almost exclusively with really good players, and Dao Bidao plays more in the random pool as well.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, look out for Dalby Daw in the future. I wonder if I've played against her. I kind of want to pull up her profile. See if I have. I played 2 games against her.
I played 3 against her. And do you see the ratings?
The ratings of what?
Dao Bidao's
Oh, I see.
ratings.
Yeah. Okay. So it seems kind of. Are we sure this isn't just a troll account? So her ratings, except for Bughouse, are
No.
all like 1-1-1-1.
Yeah. And also, I think personal best 11 in Puzzle Rush.
Yeah. It makes me wonder if this isn't like an alt of some sort. But
No, because this is someone. Well, I've talked to her on Discord
okay.
and multiple times actually. If she had an alt, I assume I would know it. And what the hell is Knight of 7? Is he really expecting to get a queen right now? Yeah, if I was Merc, I would definitely resign there too. Knight of 7 made no sense.
So, okay. So his partner sacked a knight, and then was going to beg for a queen, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah, those
that was
early
just
sacks are generally a pretty bad idea.
step 1, lose a bunch of material. Step 2, ask for material in a way. Yeah, ask for some material that you're never going to actually get. And then step 3 is resign.
Yeah, I partnered someone recently about a week ago. I saw a streamer who his stream title was something um like like playing Bughouse. I love Bughouse or something like that. But he wasn't playing Bughouse. He was playing chess. So I went into his stream. I'm like, oh, do you want to play Bughouse? And he was like, what's your rating? And I said, 22, 2300. And they said, okay, let's partner. Um, so we partnered, and then every game he would immediately like sack his knight and beg for pieces. And oh, this is mate for Jarl. So I kept suggesting like, don't do that, and I would give him alternative moves where he did not sack the knight and where he would develop pieces, and then I would feed him a bunch of pieces, and he got disgusted with it. He said basically he unpartnered me saying like that's not how I learned to play Bughouse. You play weird. It's no fun.
At least he listened.
Yeah, he did listen for the most part, but he didn't like it.
Yeah, it's weird to completely change your playstyle.
Yeah, I know that can be tough. I wasn't even
Did you
saying that
see Bishop at a3 is a capture actually?
I don't know whether that was a capture or a place. I was looking at the other
Yeah,
board.
maybe it was a drop. It looks like a weird move, that's for sure.
It does look like a weird move. Oh, wow, they've sacked the queen on both boards. And the
I
time
think
is
Dalbidal is playing Knight
fairly
c3 next.
close. Knight c3 to try to force the queen.
Yeah, that has to be the idea, right? Or
Oh,
not? Or the
apparently
idea was getting
not.
a rook for rook f8.
Bishop takes bishop for Jarl here. Then knight at. So knight at c5 would be good if Dalbidal could get a knight. Which I would have suggested retreating the bishop to pin the knight.
Yeah,
Although they,
Dalbidal is not getting a knight.
yeah, they are down time. Jarl is making his own knight. It's a nice chess move.
I like the queen d5 there.
Yeah, for sure. Invincible Mastermind had better moves. Okay, a pawn is quite good
Yeah.
for Jarl. Jarl's up about
Pawn
2
d7, king
seconds.
d8, and then knight drop on b7 is mate. Also, second pawn is just mate.
Yeah, if he doesn't get it, he could play knight takes g7 and then knight back.
Or this.
That's a good move too.
Since, yeah, castling is not allowed there. Because Invincible Mastermind had already played it and moved his king twice.
Maybe takes knight could be interesting here. Rook takes c8.
Maybe what's interesting?
Rook takes c8.
Oh yeah, but I think it's just bishop e5 for Dao because then it's mate in one on the other
Yep,
board.
and you just played it. Also, bishop at f6 could be fun if queen takes rook.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Oh, he found
What's
it?
this? That's flexing.
Yeah, he's finding all my moves. Yeah, so it's impossible to stop this mate.
I really like the watch this. He wrote it in chat, and your viewers cannot see that, of course.
Oh, what
In
did he
chat, he
write?
wrote "watch this," and then he moved bishop f6.
Okay. No, I mean, it's just a solid move. It's,
I just want to give a small tip, Snail.
yeah, I've actually have Metaphysically blocked because I don't like all these alt accounts. So I did not see what he said in the chat. It is about
Oh yeah, that's
it is about 7 minutes until this next match starts. I guess I
5
can
now.
start following some of these people.
Yeah.
But we can continue to watch Jarl in the interim. Okay, one team is online. Let's see about the other one. Okay, one team is online and the other is not. So the high rated team you talked about, Artem Sadovsky and Tuvalov, are online. Orca S88 and Firecracker 150 are not online.
And when were those two? Oh, you're not on profile, right?
I'm not on their profiles. I just tried following them
Right.
in live chess.
Right. In the open section, we had 2 games in top 32, right?
It,
Or no, top 16, I mean.
what do you mean? I'm not sure what you're trying to
Yeah, there
say.
were 8 teams in the first round of the knockout stage, and then 20.
Oh, yeah, I see what
Yeah.
you're saying. Yeah, it was, instead of making a bracket of 32, they made a bracket of 36.
Oh
And
yeah, that was it.
and it 8 teams were playing for, I guess, like 4 slots or something like that.
Yeah, and those 4 matches should all have been played right now, I think. Or maybe today is the deadline.
I think the deadline is tomorrow night. They may have already been
Okay.
played though. I'm not sure. There's
Yeah.
very few matches there.
I know at least one of those matches was played, and then their next match was also played, which you streamed.
Yeah,
That was
they are allowed to. They're allowed to play their matches early as long as they know
yeah, of
who their
course.
opponents are.
Better to do it early than too late.
Yeah, for sure.
For me, it's still the question if we are going to play the match.
If you and your partner are going to play the match, is that what you say?
Yeah, it's mostly because one of our opponents is he basically has only one day. He gave us a 3-hour window. No, he gave us 2 days, I think.
Okay, yeah, that's awkward.
Two
I
days and a 3-hour window on the third day. That was it.
Yeah, I'm not. Uh, as a organizer, I am focusing on the under 2000 section. I think Scary Snakes is focusing on the open section.
Yeah, in We have a group chat with the 4 players, and then Scary Snakes is in